I have the joy of having allergies, which means that my speech is not going to carry maybe to the back row, which may be a blessing to you that are sitting back there. But if you would like to hear, you might move up, because this is about all I've got to put out. I'd like to comment about how you've sat in this room this morning. Who came in? Who was the first person in here to sit down? The two of you. In Kenya, where I served for 8 years, the next people who would have come in, and of course they have side aisles everywhere because the churches are much bigger. The next people would have sat right next to you. And the next people right next to you, to them, on up. Because they sat close together, because they knew that this was a body. And as any doctor will tell you, you can't have an arm way out there in left field and have it do anything but die unless it's connected to a body. So they understood that the corporateness of the situation was that they sat close to each other. And of course, the first people that got there, they would have sat here, but you did very good of sitting there. I wonder what would happen, and I often wonder what it says to somebody who knows nothing about the church and walks in a door and finds 20 people basically sitting far away from one another in their own space. Stewardship is about everything. It is about the stewardship of the space that you have been given to build yourself into the body of Christ. It is about the life that you live beyond this place as well as the life that you live in this place. The gospel reading this morning reminds me of a woman in Lexington, Kentucky, who was a cook in a coal mine, a oil well place in Beaumont, Texas, and her husband developed a drill that would go just a little deeper and drilled into the ground and hit the first gusher called the Spindletop Oil Field. And she moved to Lexington, Kentucky, and she bought up a bunch of little farms in the Depression of people that were going broke, and she built a big house. And when she went down to the bank, they said, oh, she had tacky clothes on, and they said, well, I'm sorry, we have a $100 minimum. She said, I want to put in $100,000. So she invited all of the people in Lexington who one would invite, the people who were on the list, the people who were horse people in the horse country, to come to her house for dinner. No one came. And so she sent out and said, invite all the policemen, invite all the firemen. There's a homeless shelter down there. Go get all those people and bring them there. A little kind of caveat to our reading this morning. Another thing that happened to her was that the Junior League came to call to solicit money. Not to solicit her membership, but to solicit money from her. And she had the first intercom system in the state of Kentucky. And so as the ladies were downstairs, she just happened to hear over the intercom that they were talking about how tacky the curtains were and how tacky her dress was and how tacky everything was. And so she walked downstairs and handed the ladies a check for $50,000. And she said, good afternoon, ladies, here's the check. There's the door. She was a woman who continually lived out her life as a steward in the midst of people who treated her horribly. Horribly. Before she died, she gave her house and all 750 acres to the University of Kentucky. It is now the University of Kentucky faculty, staff, and alumni club, and it's a part of the farm of the University tell you that because that's something about what Jesus was talking about in this lesson. If you're not ready to come to the banquet, if you're not prepared in the right clothes or in the right mood or in the right attitude or the right sense of generosity, somebody else will be asked to come in your place. So I want to say these things about stewardship, and I have to get up here where I read them because I forget them. Number one is all that you have comes from God. Your mind, your ability to make money, the money in fact you've made, the way that you live your life, the ability to do the things that you have done and will continue to do is all from God. It is God's making, and I hate to tell you, it is not yours. No one has everything and no one has nothing. Everybody has something to offer. And what God asks in that offering is offering from what you have, not offering from what you don't have. But you are supposed to offer from what you do have. And you have to get honest about that you do have. Number three, all you have you will lose. Some of you have already lost your hair. Some of us are in the process of losing our hair. But when it's all said and done, I hate to tell you, you're not going to take one damn thing with you. It is all going to be gone. And the other thing is, if you think that you can control it after you are dead, believe me, there is a good lawyer born every day whose deep desire is to help some of your heirs break your will so that they may spend it the way that they want to spend it. So if you're like Andrew Carnegie, spend the last nickel you have the last day you live. Get rid of it all. Fourthly, while you are in possession of it, you and you alone make the decisions about what you do with your money. Don't blame it on the devil. Don't blame it on your parents, how they taught you. Don't blame it on your children who are in trouble and are leeches. Don't blame it on anybody. It's you and you alone that make the decision. You're in charge of your life. And you're the one who is going to make the decisions about what you do with things. Those decisions, how you use the money specifically that passes through your hands, will determine the kind of person you are today and the kind of person you are in eternity. Do you want to be grateful? Then you have to give. If you want to be greedy, you have to grasp. I had a woman who was a mother of a parishioner in Houston. Her name was Rhea Fondi. And Rhea was an incredible woman. She died at 105. And at 104, I attended her birthday party. Now, this is a woman who at 92 decided that everybody in heaven might not be speaking English. In fact, nobody might be speaking English. So she went and started and learned French. She learned the French so well that at 96 she decided she better get another language and learn Spanish. She entered the EFM program at Sewanee, Education for Ministry, at 94, and at 98 graduated, and to this day is still the oldest graduate. But I said, what is your secret? What is the secret about your life? Why is it that you seem so happy about everything and have gotten control of your life? She said, well, one thing, I don't believe in death. I thought, well, that's very convenient. You don't believe in it, so you don't participate in it. She said, no, I mean that my husband changed 35 years ago. He changed from somebody I knew who was with me into something that God was going to use for God's kingdom forever. But it was going to go on. She said, too, I look forward to change. I realize that everything in this world is going to change. That I'm going to change. She said, in fact, I have changed in the last 104 years. She said, but it is important that I embrace the change and look at the change rather than fight the change. 3, she said, be in control of your life. I said, what does that mean? Well, she said, let me tell you. When I was 90, I went to the Kroger store. She lived in Knoxville, Tennessee. And when I drove back from the Kroger store, I called my daughter up and I said, Frankie, come and get my car. It will be safer for the people in Knoxville, Tennessee, if I'm not driving my car. She said at 92, I called my daughter up and I said, Frankie, I don't need to live in this house anymore. I need a small apartment. This is too much and it's ridiculous for me to have it. At 95, she said, I called and I said, Frankie, I need one of those assisted living places. I am tired of cooking. And she said, at 99, I decided that I needed some care of getting around and dressing myself and a whole bunch of other things. And I moved into a nursing home. The nursing home where she happened to be, she went down every afternoon and ministered to the Alzheimer's patients. And read to them and sang to them and wiped their faces and took care of them. And then she paused and she said, but this is what you tell everybody that a 104-year-old woman told you. She said, I have never suppressed a generous urge. And she said, I know when I am most generous, I am most like whom my Father in heaven created me to be. And when I'm least generous, I'm like who the other guy would like me to be. So she said, every day I look for opportunities to give something away. To give my life away, give my money away, give my things away. And she said, when I hold back anything, I lose the joy. Well, that's from a 94-year-old woman, a 104-year-old woman. She died, the story is, on her 2 days after her 105th birthday, the nurse came in and said, Miss Fondley, you're not getting up. And she said, no, I'm sort of tired this morning. Just let me sleep a while. And when the nurse came back in, she was awake, but in another place, and on a different shore. With peace, she had gone from this world to the next. Might we have that courage? You're in the point where you have to decide how much of your money you're going to keep and what you're going to give to God through God's mission and ministry in this place, St. John's Church. Will it be a grateful gift or will it be a greedy gift? Will it be one of generosity because you know that God has generously given you everything? You and only you make that decision. And you will be blessed by either decision you made in some ways, because God doesn't even curse us for our bad decisions. But you will be changed more into the image of God than others if you are generous. I was in a parish 3 years ago, and after the service I got in a deep argument with a gentleman about giving and everything. And I thought, oh Lord, I've probably ruined this man. He'll never give another penny and the rector will hang me. And I'm not sure that he is the one who did this, but when I got up in the pulpit the next Sunday there, because I spent 3 weeks there, there was this envelope that said Corky on it. And there was another bigger envelope at the bottom. And on the back of the envelope was this note with a penny on it. And he says, "This dirty penny I found in the church parking lot and put it in my pocket. When I emptied my pockets that night, I found the nickel, the dime, the quarter, and the 50-cent piece as well. The other money fell from the sky, in a manner of speaking. And in the other envelope was one $1 bill, two $2 bills, five $5 bills, 10 $10 bills, 20 $20 bills, 50 $50 bills, and 100 $100 bills. In other words, there was about $13,000 in something. That somebody was saying, I'm getting it, I'm understanding it, and I'm doing it in such a way that nobody's going to know whose it is. So, I just put all of that over in the offering plate. They did give me this envelope back. When you give in ways that surprise yourself about your giving, it changes your life. Your generosity and your participation in the mission and ministry of this church through your generosity is what it's all about. It's changing us into the body of Christ who want to be with each other, to support each other, and to give through and for each other for God and God's kingdom. May you this year have the courage to begin that journey. May you join the generosity movement, and may you celebrate all of God's generosity to you and for you and through you by your generosity. Amen.